Welcome to this week's edition of Black Authors Matter TV, where we interview the latest movers and shakers in the African American literary community. You'll meet some old friends, discover new ones, and stay abreast of the latest book developments around the country and even the world. So sit back and relax for the next 2 hours with Black Authors Matter TV co-hosts Gwen Richardson and Dr. Rhonda Lawson.
Good evening and welcome to the November 12th edition of Black Authors Matter TV. I'm Gwen Richardson, your host for tonight, and my co-host, Dr. Rhonda Lawson, will be joining us shortly. We have a very special night tonight because tonight we interview our 700th guest. That's right, we've interviewed 700 different people on this show since we launched it in July of 2020. And that's not 700 interviews, that's 700 individual people, because we have had some people on more than once. And so 700 people in the literary arena, and we're excited about it. So thank you all for supporting the show, and thanks for tuning in. If I sound a little nasal, I'm getting over some weather change issues here, but I'm feeling better. So our first guest is actually not the 700. The 700th guest is guest number 2 for tonight. But our first guest has been on the show before. She's not a stranger to Black Authors Matter TV, and she has a brand new book that just came out a week ago. So she's going to come and tell us about her brand new book, and it's called All the Greatness in You. And we welcome back Tameka Fryer Brown to Black Authors Matter TV.
Hey, how are you doing, Gwen?
I'm great. I said if I sound nasal, I'm getting over some stuff, but it's that time of year.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I had to take a cetirizine or a Zyrtec before I got on here too. So yeah.
Well, yeah, I do that, but I actually do some other stuff. I take vitamin C, and when I start to get something, I do extras. I load up on it.
Yeah.
But
I take vitamin W.
Vitamin W.
Water?
Wine.
Oh, wine. You know what? I need to start doing that occasionally. The last wine I had, Rhonda, was when we were in New York for the Harlem Book Fair. That's the last time I had some wine, and that was September. And I'm not really a drinker. I'm a lightweight, and it doesn't take much. But I'm gonna start imbibing a little bit more in the evening.
Don't let me be a bad influence on you.
The red wine is good for the stomach. Good for what else? So a little bit.
Yeah, well, I like white personally, but So is that why you were late? Are you?
No, actually, I was sitting here daydreaming because I have a little notification that comes on my computer, and the notification came up and said, "Okay, I have 10 minutes. Let me go ahead and get ready." And then I started daydreaming, I guess. And next thing you know, it was 8 o'clock. I was like, "Oh shoot."
Yeah, that little time span in there where I'm waiting for the show, I'm sitting waiting, checking things and all that, and then before I know it, it's time.
That's exactly what happened.
Yeah, Tameka, we don't want to take a lot of time for your interview, but congratulations on your new book. Now, which book is this for you? Which book number is this for you?
This is book number 7.
Number 7, and you've been pretty busy. Seems like since we started the show, you've been on every year, I think, and every year you've had a new book.
Yeah. I think the first time I came on, was it right after with Brown Baby Lullaby?
Yeah.
I think maybe that was it. And that came out in 2020. And then I had 2 in 2022 that come out, another one in 2023, and this one's in 2024. So yeah.
You had the Shirley Chisholm book, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then you had the book about the flag.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So, okay. Well, do you have a copy of your new one?
Of course. I have it sitting right
so
here.
You can show it to All the Greatness in You. So that child is looking up at the sky and looking at a constellation.
Yes.
and the Big Dipper or the Little Dipper, whichever one that is.
It's like there is a deeper message
Mhm.
because
Oh,
when
yeah.
you shoot for the stars, you know, and the stars are way out there. So if you're shooting for the stars, you're going to hit so many things. So it's like he's looking at the stars. That's a little boy, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Looks
yeah.
like a little boy.
Yes.
And yeah, if he's shooting for the stars, he's going to be able to be anything he wants to be. And I think that's a beautiful message.
Yes. And the illustrator is Aliana Harris.
I was
And
going to ask you about her.
yes,
Mm.
she's wonderful.
Now, is she new? Do you have a different illustrator with every book, or
Pretty much.
how is
Pretty
that?
much.
Okay.
Except for this book and my next book, Aliana is doing both of them.
Okay. But all
Okay,
your
so
other books,
all
but
the other
your
ones.
illustrations have always been very beautiful. It's
Yeah,
gorgeous
I think I've
illustrations.
lucked out. Yeah, I think I've lucked out. But no, she totally understood the assignment, and she added so many layers to the text with her illustrations. Like you even discerned with the cover how, you know, the little boy's looking up at this vast sky, which represents all this possibility, and he's pointing up at it confidently at the sky, at the words, all the greatness in you. And that's really what the book is about. It's about it's kind of like a joyful ode to growing up and being a big kid. This is literally the follow-up to Brown Baby Lullaby. My editor, after Brown Baby Lullaby was out and doing its thing, she was like, you know, we need a follow-up. And so this one is literally the follow-up to that. And it just encourages kids um, to ask questions, to try new things, to make mistakes because they know that there's resilience inside of them. And just to overall just believe that there is greatness in them too. So and she, like I said, she understood the assignment. If you look inside at the illustrations,
Well, show
they're
us some of them.
beautiful. Yeah, they're beautiful, they're colorful. Um, this is the first one where you can see the little kid growing up from a little kid to a big kid.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And this is one of my favorite spreads
Okay.
with the mom and the kid
With the
dancing
dancing. Okay.
together.
Love
Yeah,
that.
and yeah, it's just a lot of stuff. He's asking questions. It says a thinker you are, you know, a mind full of wonder. You want to know what happened, why. Sometimes I'll have answers, sometimes I won't. Keep wondering, seek, study, try. Wisdom will come by and by. And there's all these different types of affirmations in the book. And it's just, I'm really proud of this one. So,
Well,
yeah.
let
Okay.
me ask you this, because you have I know you said you lucked up,
Uh-huh.
but because you have different illustrators for each book, how are you able to keep some type of continuity? And then how do you find yourself having to explain your concept over and over again because you have a new person who's trying to bring that story to life?
Mm-hmm. Well, not really. I think maybe what you're asking me, are you asking me about my brand kind of
Well,
what
yeah,
I
well, I'm talking about with the books. So
okay.
you know, with since you've had a different illustrator
Mm-hmm.
for each book, how do you keep that continuity going so people can still recognize you?
Mm-hmm. You know, I think when it comes to recognizing me and my voice, that happens in the text, right? I do think I have kind of a style of
Mhm.
writing, but the art is different. And it's necessary that it is, because even though I have a certain voice that's recognizable, all my stories, most of them are very different, right? And so,
Okay.
and I publish with different publishers, and
Right.
they really
Okay.
are the ones who kind of determine what the illustrative vision is. Now, as I've gone on, I have the opportunity to have a little bit more say as to who they actually bring on for the project, but we still have to kind of be eye to eye with what the vision is. And so I don't know. I think as long as the illustrator gets the story
Mhm.
and is able to elevate the story with the illustrations and kind of have their own narrative that is cohesive, because I don't, the best illustrators don't just literally kind of regurgitate in visual form what you've said, they kind of
Right.
add another story layer to it, right?
Right.
And
Mhm.
so as long as you have an illustrator that will do that, you're going to be successful. Like Nicholas Smith, who did that flag, his art couldn't be more different than Aliana's, but both are
Right.
gorgeous and both are suited for the text. And I have to say, I think I've been fortunate to have editors and art directors who kind of have strong vision and accurate vision when it comes to kind of bringing on illustrators for a project.
And that's a good thing. I mean,
Mhm.
and and you're right. I don't think I want anybody who does work for me to do exactly what I say.
Right.
Because sometimes I'm not exactly sure what it is,
Yeah,
but I have a concept. I need you to use your creativity to take it further. So I'm
exactly.
totally with what you're saying.
Yeah,
Mm.
absolutely.
Yeah, and I like illustrators that uh, their work. Well, illustrating books for other people is different from being an artist where you're presenting your own art,
Hmm.
which is going to be necessarily similar looking or similar theme.
Right.
But when you're doing work for other people and you're doing it for various
Hmm.
people in terms of their books, you don't want them all to look alike. I know there's some artists that I know who illustrated the book. I know this illustrator's work is a couple people, and it makes the author's book like not look unique to me.
Hmm.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
understand what I'm saying, because the
Yeah.
illustrations I've seen them on five or 10 different books, the
I think
same.
that's the danger in AI. And don't get me
Yes.
wrong, I don't have anything against the ethical use of AI. Notice I said ethical.
Hmm.
But when we depend too heavily on it, you're right, Gwen, everything starts to look the same.
Hmm.
Yeah, and you can tell AI, and I'm sure they're going to be improving and perfecting it, probably to the point where you won't be able to tell. Um, and that's scary because that's
Yeah.
going to put a lot of artists out of work.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I don't know about AI with the books, and I don't the
It's dangerous
content.
for all of us, the
Content,
writers,
it is
the
a danger.
artists, all of us.
It is.
Yeah.
Now with the books though, the content, they have to grab the content from what's out there already. They like
Hmm.
consolidate or extract. They're not coming up with new content. But it really, really, really reminds me of the Terminator, the original Terminator. And the year was 2029 in the
Hmm.
first Terminator. And we're close to 2029. And look what's happening. They
Look what's
have, I don't
happening.
know if you all have seen that new robot that Elon Musk has that's like a human walking. I don't know. It's scary because it walks like a man. I mean, it doesn't move, it doesn't have robot movements. It has man movements. I'd be scared to
Mhm.
be in a room with it. It's almost like it's gonna tell you what to do. So we have some brave new stuff coming in the future. We need to be ready and just, you know, be on the lookout.
Well,
Um,
we're not gonna get all gloom and doom on the people now.
no, we're not. I just want people to be aware though. You have to be aware of what's going on
Mhm.
around you
Mhm.
because you don't want to be ignorant of what's happening, in the world around you. So especially in the industry, we have to kind of keep our ear to the ground on what's going on because I know publishers are always trying to figure out how to cut costs, the big ones especially. You know.
Mhm.
So now for your getting back to your books and your writing and your vision,
Mhm.
um,
I don't use AI, by the way.
oh well,
I
I can
didn't think
tell
you
that.
did. You already
I
told
didn't
us
either. I
about your
can tell it
artist, so we weren't even talking
now.
about you, Tameka.
And
Just
not for the
joking.
content either. Not for the content either. But
But I saw your Black Authors Matter mug.
Oh, yes. Every time. Yeah.
oh, I have mine
All
too.
right.
Yeah, look at y'all being twins. I have mine, but mine's in the cabinet. I can go make some coffee real quick though.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
But
But
oh no, you had a
well,
question
I
first, and then
I
I had a
was gonna
question.
say all of your themes are the underlying message to me is hope in all of your books.
Mhm.
Even the one about the flag, it was still hope for being able to communicate and empathize with the other person, relate,
Yes.
relate, have conversations. So, is that where you start when you're writing your book? Where you what do you start from? What starting point do you start from in terms of what I want this one to be about?
Mhm. You know what? Each one of them is a different thing, and it's inspired by something different. Um, I think the hopeful thread comes in is because I always want to leave kids with a sense of hopefulness, with some joy, with some love. I always want to love on kids in my books. I recently came to the realization that my authorial perspective is mom. And so mom
Okay,
said, yeah, it
okay,
really is. And so I think
okay,
that's why I'm always trying to leave them with something positive and to pour into them with the books that I write. And I want the words to be such that when they're grown-ups, their parents, adults, caregivers, whomever's reading the book to them, they're reading those words to them, they are pouring into them. It feels to the kid like, this adult is affirming me, is loving on me, is planting seeds of pride and self-love in me. And I think that that is always in the back of my mind. So now the topic might be different. I might be writing about loud family gatherings and 12 dinging doorbells, or that flag as you mentioned, or this, all the greatness in you, or Shirley Chisholm even. The way I couch that is not done yet, to leave kids with a sense of hope that no matter what's going on in the world, we can have an impact, because we're not done yet. um
right,
so I just think that that is just maybe my authorial perspective, and it
okay,
finds its way into my work.
And that was actually the question that I was going to ask you. We're in a very volatile political climate right now. And books like yours that highlight Shirley Chisholm, I think still provides a lot of hope to young Black girls who were probably looking at Kamala Harris
mhm,
as um I'm going to have a president who looks like me.
Mhm.
And then for them to see a book like yours that highlights Shirley Chisholm, shows that, the fight isn't over.
That's
Have
right.
have you seen kind of a bump in that book, or have you been able to highlight that book more due to the political climate that we have going on right now?
Mhm. When Kamala Harris first became the Democratic presidential nominee, yeah, I said, hey, I've got this book
you
here.
got Shirley
And
Chisholm.
and not only is it about Shirley Chisholm, who Kamala Harris always gives credit to as being somebody who paved the path, but the actual final spread has Kamala Harris in it.
Oh,
And
wow.
it's
Oh,
got all
okay,
these people that Shirley Chisholm paved the path for. And so I did, start trying to publicize it. And now, even more so, I'm thinking that it has a resonance because even though she did not become president-elect, on that last page of that book I just showed you, the final words were, Shirley Chisholm was a natural born fighter. Oh, well, actually, let me say this. I'll go a little bit before that. It says, Shirley didn't win, but the path that she paved makes a better nation possible today. Shirley Chisholm was a natural born fighter. She battled for fairness and change. Her legacy lives. The fight continues. We're not done yet. We could substitute that and say Kamala Harris was a natural born fighter. She battled for fairness and change. Her legacy lives. The fight continues. We're not done yet. So it just kind of shows the continuum. Shirley influenced all these politicians that are on that final page, including Kamala
Absolutely.
Harris. And then that final page has kids interspersed in it. Then they are holding up signs like, about climate change and fairness. And so it just is an inspiration. I intended it to be for kids to know that the battle is, all of ours. and we all have a role in trying to make positive change. And we're not done yet, obviously, but yeah, but we all have a role, and we all can have an impact. And so, so if anybody's looking and listening and watching, Shirley Chisholm, this book not done yet. Shirley Chisholm, Fight for Change, y'all. Let's use books like this, and it's not the only one, but let's use books like this to encourage our kids in this difficult time, and to encourage ourselves, quite frankly.
Absolutely. I mean,
Well,
I think that we need this encouragement right now. I mean, I think this, I mean, I don't want to get political, but I'm really saying how this particular election really like brought the rocks down on us, so to speak.
Yeah.
You know, there were people who didn't want to come to work. People were very sensitive, and I don't mean sensitive in a negative way. They were just more sensitive to things that were said. I mean, I had one of my employees who was like, I can't take it anymore. Tell them don't talk about it. You know, you know, she just did not want to talk about it. So I think books like yours and messages like yours are what we need to hear.
Yeah.
I would read the book. I'm not a child, but
Right.
I might need that extra encouragement for myself, because there were a lot of messages that people received because of this past election. And books like yours just have that positive message that tells people to just keep on keeping on. So, as we used to say back in the day, or as our grandparents used to say.
Absolutely, absolutely. And
yeah.
even I just had my book launch party this past Saturday for All the Greatness in You. And there's a section on there about resilience. And afterwards, you know, we're all talking, you know, there were adults in the room saying, yeah, I'm buying this for my grandkid, but I'm gonna hold on to it for a little bit because I need it, you know, right now
Yes.
to bolster me. So yeah.
Yeah, it was really a roller coaster ride, and that, you know, made it even more challenging. It wasn't your typical situation where it's kind of a buildup. You know, it was just whoosh and it was over, you know. But you know, if you all saw the movie with Shirley Chisholm,
Yeah, I did.
portrayed by Regina King,
Mm-hmm.
Shirley Chisholm, she really had a like extremely tough, just because nobody really took her seriously at all. And she was fighting everybody. You know, she was having to fight everybody, and you know, stabbed in the back and all of that. And I wanted to see a little bit more about Shirley Chisholm's background, her backstory. They didn't really give you any of that, but it's hard to do it with a limited film, with a limited time of the film. Were you able to connect your Shirley Chisholm book to that movie at all? Were you able to capitalize on that? You know, a lot of timing and stuff is timing. And I don't remember if the timing of that movie with your book, but seems like it was kind of similar.
Well, it was after the movie. The movie came out after, you know, my book came out in 2022. But you know how we do when the movie came out. I posted. I was like, you know, watch Regina, then read. Not done yet. You know,
that's the way you do it. That's the way you
gotta
do it.
You gotta do it. But it was very interesting as I was watching the movie. It was, I don't know, it was so rewarding that I could look at, I could be like, oh, I know where they got that information from. Oh yeah, I know, you know, I remember that information. I saw that interview, you know, because all the research I had to do for the book. So that was really cool. Since Not Done Yet was my very first nonfiction book.
Like a bio.
Yeah, bio, yeah. So that was just real cool.
And thank you for mentioning that. Even though you write a children's book, not you, a person, when authors write children's books, they still need to be accurate, historically accurate. If you're writing a bio type book, it has to be. You can't just do it by the seat of your pants because it's targeting children. You don't want to be, you know, you want to be giving them accurate information so they won't repeat the wrong information. And a lot of times, because that's what I did when I wrote my book, Boss Women, that has 7 biographies of African American women who built their businesses from the ground up. I found a lot of information watching YouTube videos
Mhm.
of their interviews with different people.
Mhm.
And see, that's not written, that's not like reading a book or an article
Mhm.
that has a quote. This from their own mouths. You really get a good sense of who they are, their passions, um, just things that they reflect about. And sometimes they will share anecdotes from their childhood or something
Mhm.
that would not be in a book that's helpful when you're writing a book.
That's right. Absolutely. And there's nothing like that primary source information,
Right,
from their mouths. Yeah.
right. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's nothing
And
like
one
that.
my favorite pastime is when I'm watching a movie that's about a real person. My boyfriend does it too. We'll be sitting there watching a movie, and then as soon as they get to a pivotal scene, we look it up to see if it really happened that way.
Yeah. Yeah. We did that when we were watching The Crown on Netflix. We were like, wait a minute.
Oh yeah, I was all into the backstory of the Crown. I'm like, did it really happen like that?
The Crown was really well done.
It
Mhm.
It
was. It
really
really
gave you a
was.
sense
They
of
the characterization, the whoever chose the actors,
the
the
Mhm.
casting,
casting.
the
Yeah.
casting was amazing.
It
Yeah, it really
was.
was.
It
Mhm.
was. Even from, even when they made the switch from her as a young queen and then the
Mhm.
middle-aged queen and then
Mhm.
then the
Right.
older queen. And same for her husband, Philip.
Yeah.
They were able to they did a really good job of doing
Mhm.
that. So, um,
Oh,
yeah.
Lydia Brew asked if you're going to do a book on our vice president, our current vice president, not that next guy.
Oh,
Mm.
I know what you meant. Um, I don't have an intention on doing that, but I tell you, there's a wonderful book out, picture book on her by Nikki Grimes, and I think it's called Kamala Harris Rooted in Justice. I believe that's what it's called. But it's by Nikki Grimes, and it is a wonderful, wonderful picture book. And I know that one did do really well as all of this was going on,
Okay.
because it's so good. So check that one out. And there's other ones as well. So
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So now you said you have another book coming out after this one as well. This one just came out.
yes.
But do you already have the title and theme for the next book?
It's coming out at the beginning of 2026, and it is called Prayer Is. And it's a book about
Oh,
prayer for kids.
okay.
And it's my take on it. And again, it's going to be illustrated by Aliana.
Okay.
And the illustrations are so wonderful. I think a lot of times um, books for kids on prayer are really, I don't know, really reductive, just very, very simplistic. But
Yeah.
this one is my kind of book, right? It's got some layers in it. And I think adults is gonna get something from it just as much as kids. And so I'm
Lovely.
excited about that.
And
So
when
it's
when can
geared
we
toward
expect that? Oh, I'm sorry.
it
I'm
Go
says
sorry,
ahead.
what'd you say?
2026, I think.
Mm-hmm. 2026.
Mhm.
Okay.
But it's for
We were
young
asking the
kids.
same thing.
Well, I was asking about is it still for young kids? Like her other
Oh,
books
okay.
are all for seems like the 5 to 8 year
4 to 8, yeah,
old.
something like
Okay.
that. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it's in the same age group.
Yep,
Okay. Well, Tameka, thank you so much for being a guest again on the show.
absolutely.
And thank you for making us aware of the book. Um, all the greatness in you. I think children need to think of themselves as potentially great. They have
Mm-hmm.
to have it already in their minds that I can be great.
That is
And
already inside of me, just waiting
yes,
to be revealed. Yes,
yes.
Yes.
And
absolutely.
it's helpful if parents are able to convey that to their children on a regular basis. Some do and some don't. But if the children don't get it at home, teachers doing it is a good thing too, because children are in school for 8 hours a day or however many hours they are. And
Absolutely.
if a teacher can now, do you teach? Did you?
I do not teach. When my kids were real little, I did 1 year a stint as a teacher's assistant at their Montessori school, but
Okay,
that's as close as I got.
And you said
okay,
that's enough for you.
Big ups to teachers. They do amazing, amazing work. You have to have a calling.
You do have to. You do have a heart for children.
Yeah. Yeah. I have a heart for
Especially.
children, but
Mhm.
just, as a writer.
Yeah. I hear you because I feel the same way. Well, thank you again for being a guest on the show, and we
Yeah.
hope to see you soon. Well, when your next book comes out,
All
we'll
right, then.
really have
I'll
you
be
on for
here
sure.
for sure.
Okay. All
All
right.
right,
Take
thank
Take
care.
care,
you.
y'all.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Good night. Okay, so that's Tameka Pryor Brown. And at the top of the show, Rhonda, I had said tonight was a special night because we're
Yes, I know
celebrating
why.
our 700th guest. It's amazing that we have talked to 700 different people
That is
in a
crazy.
short period of time. 4 years, a little bit over 4 years.
Yes,
And
that's amazing.
it is amazing. And we should pat ourselves on the back. Um, so our 700th guest is coming up right now. And she is part of the Peace and Freedom Committee out of Marion, Ohio. We've interviewed the different
Yes.
authors that are part of that project, and I believe this is the last one. We've interviewed all the other ones, and so her name is Dana Hanif-Booker, and um, you're fuzzy.
Just
Oh,
wipe the screen off. And
well, you need to
taking
unmute
mute off.
first. Unmute. Uh, wipe your camera off. If you're on a laptop, your camera is right in the center at the top. And if you wipe it with like tissue or cloth or something.
She just did. There you go. Oh, there we are. Oh,
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 but I
okay.
saw it. I saw it. Yeah. Yeah. That happened to me a few months ago. I was like, what
Yeah.
is going on?
I have to
And
wipe my camera off every before every show.
do you? Okay. Well,
Yeah, because I have.
I don't wipe
Yeah.
mine off, but a few months ago, I was trying to do something and I don't think it was the show. It was something else on Zoom. And it looked horrible. I'm like, what is this? And then I realized it was the camera. So, Dana, okay, are we okay with the sound now?
Thank you for the grace.
Okay, no, no problem. We don't want you to be fuzzy.
I was wondering when I was setting up. I said, I look so fuzzy. What's wrong? It takes a sister to tell another sister, oh, just clean your phone off.
We
Just
want you
fix
to
the
look your
crown. Fix the
best.
crown.
I
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Because a lot of people watch this, so we want you to look your best.
Thank
So,
you.
welcome to Black Authors Matter TV, and congratulations on being our 700th guest of the show.
Woo!
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
yeah, we have interviewed
Oh,
700 different guests in the course
wow.
of 4 years. So, thank you for being on the show. And you know what? When we first started, we had no idea we would get this far. I mean, we just didn't know what was going to happen.
Yeah.
And, and a lot of people don't wonder how can you interview 700 people?
Mhm.
That's because there are a lot of people writing books,
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
stores, book clubs, book projects, publishers. There's lots of people doing books in this space and
Yeah.
in the literary space. And so there are more out there. We haven't exhausted them all.
No,
And
no.
there are
Plenty
always
more to
new books
come.
coming out. There are always new books coming out.
Yes.
So tell us how you got involved with the Peace and Freedom Committee
Ah.
in Marion, Ohio. This is
In Marion,
uh-huh.
Ohio. So
How did you get involved?
I'm sure you and your listeners are familiar with the Peace and Freedom Committee. As of now, you've probably heard from several of our authors.
Yeah.
But I got involved in the Peace and Freedom Committee probably about 16, 17 years ago. And I got involved with the founder, Laura Troutman. And I just went to one of the events they had. It was a luncheon, it was a ladies' luncheon. And I was so inspired by all of the women that attended the luncheon. And I was also inspired by the speakers that they had and the awards that they gave away. And, once you get inspired, you're like, oh, how can I be a part of this? I want to be a part of
Right.
this.
Okay.
And the rest is history. And it's been a great ride. It has truly been a great ride. We have made some strides in our community when it deals with women and empowering them and encouraging them, backing them up, helping them seek their vision. That is what we do. And I love it. And then on top of literacy is one of our big things. One of the branches of the Peace and Freedom is Peace and Freedom Publications. And so that's where all of our babies came along, our books. And that was, I want to say it was 4 years. It took us 4 years from start to finish. And honestly, I always tell people, our founder had a vision. We didn't have a pot to what in, but she had a vision. And I'm like, how? We don't have no money. We're gonna write books. We need, editors, illustrators, books, they cost money.
Yeah.
Whether you're doing them on your own or you have somebody pouring into you. And but she was just diligent. We applied for grants. The first time we applied, we didn't get them, but we kept pushing. And the second time we applied, we had more direction and more clarity of what our purpose was. And from that, we were able to establish a publisher. And from that publisher, we were able to get illustrators for our books. So from start to finish, it took about 4 years. And the dedication behind it, the first year, we met once a week for an hour, every book team. And I tell you, that was a sacrifice. That was truly a sacrifice. But in the end, all 6 women have created from their heart beautiful books that have caveats of Marion inside the books.
So, what I think is one of the most beautiful things I'm hearing about your story is that you attended an event. You didn't really know the people, but you attended the event, you supported the event, and you were so touched by the message that you wanted to be a part of it.
Yeah.
So what was it that drew you to it? And then what was it that kept you there? Because like you said, okay, this is cool and all, but we don't have no money. How are we going to do this? But you stuck with it. You saw it through. So what drew you there? And then what kept you there?
The empowerment that I saw there, the connection that the women had. They came from all different backgrounds, all socioeconomic backgrounds. But the top tier it was excellent. From the moment you walked in the door till you put yourself in the car in the parking lot, shut the door, rolled the window down, still talking about the event. It was excellent. And it was just top tier. And Marion is a small community. We're not a big, big inner city. We're a small community. And so we have to do things first class. We have to do things with excellence to keep the community engaged. And those were the 3 things that stuck out to me: the empowerment, the coming together, and the excellence of that whole event. I was like, I want to be a part of that. Yeah. And then, their other big event is their Martin Luther King community breakfast and speech contest. So that's the other thing. And so from the luncheon, it rolled into, I got to see what the breakfast was like. So I was like in the shadows at the first time I went to the breakfast. I was in the shadows. I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. Wow. Because the breakfast actually brings out the entire community. It's not just our culture. It's all the cultures in the community. And what better time to do that than on MLK Day? So,
Well, what I like about the story that you all had a leader that you followed the vision. You had a concept of wanting to promote literacy, but then you took it to another level with actually producing books yourself.
Yeah.
And you all worked on it for 4 years. A lot of people don't, they quit. They'll be in it for a month or two and then they'll lose interest
Mhm.
or life happens and so a lot of projects get started and don't get finished. So you all are really to be congratulated that you saw it through.
Absolutely. This is what you call stick-to-itiveness.
Yeah, 4 years that's a while.
Yeah, and you're right. It did take a lot of time. Um, and we were put on timelines. There was like, okay, so in this 6 months, you have to finish your book. It's going to get critiqued, and then you have to go back in and critique the critiques. The whole process after we got some funding and we got some professionals behind it, that was when we started moving. That is when our dollars were put to use. And that was the beautiful part because our books weren't just words on a piece of paper.
Right.
They began to come to life. And even my book, there was, I wrote it a certain way, and it's still the way I wrote it, but the way they moved some of the wording around, it really grasped the age group that I intended to reach. And then when the graphics, that is the telltale moment. Your heart races when you see your first graphic on your book. I tell you what, you just have thank you, Jesus moment. You just be like, oh my God, this is awesome. Oh my God, this is my character. Oh my gosh,
That's so
that is
wonderful.
the aha moment when your illustrator actually pictorially brings that whole picture to life, gives your book life. And
Mhm.
that was it. I was like, oh, we doing something.
Now,
Like,
had you
yes,
written before?
I write, but I've never like written books. I'll just like write little short stories or something like that. Um, and I'm more historical. I'm more
Mhm.
like romance, historical, some cowboys, something like that. Um, but I'll tell you how I wrote this book is I wanted to
And since
write.
you mentioned the book, not to cut you off, you
No,
mentioned in the book, and we need to see the book. It's called Guest Speaker. Do you have a copy of it handy?
do I have a copy?
Yeah,
You better
well,
have
I
a
want
copy.
so you can show it. So
Yes.
because we keep referring to the book, but we haven't seen the book yet. So
Oh,
it's
Yes.
look
called
at the popcorn.
Guest
Mhm.
Speaker. Okay, I like the illustrations.
I love the illustrations.
So
And
what is Guest Speaker about?
yeah, so you see the popcorn, right?
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay. So basically, I wanted to make sure that I wrote a book to encourage children and introduce them to music instruments.
Okay.
All right. So in our community, I don't know where you guys are from, but where I'm from in a small town, we have a festival every year and it's called the Popcorn Festival. And the reason it's called the Popcorn Festival is that's the history of our community, is like Wyandotte popcorn. Well, with that being said, we have a popcorn festival. And that's why you see the popcorn on the front of the book.
Okay. Do y'all
All
have
right.
like a popcorn factory or something in town? Or?
Yeah. It is called, what is that fact? Yeah. They make potato chips and different types of chips and stuff like
Oh,
that now.
okay. Okay.
But yeah, at one time we did have like Wyandotte popcorn.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So that really is
Um,
connecting with Marion.
with the
Right.
community.
Hmm.
And I was like, how am I going to write this book? How am I going to connect it to music, to Marion, and all of that? Well, we have a disc jockey in our community who does blues. Has a blues
Nice.
station, and his disc jockey name is Silky Ray. And I had just saw
Silky
him like,
Ray.
yeah,
Okay.
that's his disc jockey name. I didn't give it to him. And but he's known all over the United States for his blues station, but it's here
Okay.
in Marion. And I had met with him a couple of days ago, and I was getting some history about him and how he became involved in being a DJ or disc jockey and all of that. And I was sitting at my desk at work because he had given me a bumper sticker. And I was like, oh, I have an assignment. I got to start working on this book, right? Because we meet once a week. I got to start working on this book. I looked at the bumper sticker and I was like, music, music. And I was like, how can a child be introduced to music in our community? And I tie it into the Popcorn Festival. And so basically, I wanted to write a book that entitled or had an entire family, the whole family structure. So I wanted a mother and a father, and I wanted children. And so the family actually went to the Popcorn Festival as a
Okay.
family.
Okay.
And the little boy, our Popcorn Festival is very musical. There's music everywhere, bands, all types of stuff. And the little boy, who was Silky Ray at the time, he heard this band playing on the corner. And of course, they were called the Hornets. The Hornets. I get
Oh,
tickled.
okay. For
I get
horn.
tickled
Okay.
every time I say that. Because you know a horn, but the
Mm-hmm.
band was called the Hornets.
Okay.
And he was mesmerized. Like he was mesmerized. And he told his dad that, he was like, I want a trumpet, just after seeing that. And so the book actually goes through how this little boy ended up getting a music instrument. He had to earn it. He had to work for it. So
Mhm.
his father encouraged him, well, you're going to have to earn that. And so when he eventually earned enough money, his father actually took him to the music shop. And it's a real music shop in the book that still exists today in our community. So he took him to the music store, but his father made him play several instruments before he picked what he wanted, which was the trumpet. And from the trumpet, he used that talent to get him through school, to get him through college, and then he made a career out of it. Hence, why he's in a classroom, and the book is called The Guest Speaker.
Okay, so
Wow.
he's speaking to a classroom. The book is about him speaking to a classroom.
Mhm.
Okay. 'Cause I was trying to figure out the connection between the speaker and the trumpet and popcorn. But now,
Mhm.
now that you've explained it, I understand it. So this is actually about a real person, sort of,
And
kind of, sort of.
the character is a real person, not his true
Right.
story,
Right, right.
but the character is a real person that is from Marion.
Hmm.
We do have a popcorn festival that is real.
Right.
And the music store that he purchased his instrument from and received lessons from is actually still exist in our community. And so that's the historical part of
I
the
like the
book.
fact that you're able to, I mean, because that's such a full story. And,
Hmm.
children's books can't be super long. But
Right.
the way you describe that story, I can see that as a full book. And you were
Mhm.
able to break that down into
Yeah.
nugget sizes for children. How do you do that?
Well, first it was the character. And I knew I wanted my book to be the guest speaker because
Hmm.
what child doesn't like a guest speaker in the classroom aside of their teacher? Oh, we get somebody outside of our
Yes.
teacher to talk about what's going on outside of the school, outside of these four walls. I'm invested. And so I just kind of put myself in that position. And I love music. Like, I love singing. I love dancing. I love that type of stuff. And
Hmm.
so that's my part of the book, that I love music. But my son was in the marching band. And so that was some inspiration for me too. Um, hence, a child of color, a male on the cover of the book. That was important to me. So I think in writing this book, I just kind of took everything that was important that I wanted children to see and learn. I wanted to see children see a structured family. I wanted children to see families do things together outside of the home. I wanted to see that families can agree upon you wanting something, but you have to earn it. And I wanted to also tie things from my community back into the book. And I'm not going to say, I mean, it wasn't easy, but it wasn't hard because I was just I just put my passion in it. So that part. But I tell you, between the publisher and the illustrator, they brought it to life because you have to think for years. I just had that on paper. It was just on paper. Like it was in my mind, but it was just on paper.
Yeah, it wasn't a book that you can share. And Rhonda and I are both authors, so multi-published. So I have children's books. I don't think Rhonda hadn't done a children's book yet, but she said she wants to, and she's thinking about doing. I have 6 children's books, so I understand exactly what you mean. And
my children's book is coming.
I know it is.
Down.
Do you know
I
what?
just have to sit down long enough to do it, but it's coming.
But do you know what you want to have it about?
No, that's the reason why it's still coming.
Oh.
I mean, I have some concepts in my head, but I need to be able to sit down and really think about it.
Narrow it down.
Yeah, and then put my mind in that child mindset. And I think people who write children's books, I really admire how you're able to break down these huge concepts and then break them into a way that a child can understand. It's not something everybody can do. There's some grown children's books out there, and I'm like, how'd you expect a child to understand this?
There are. But here's a hint. Think back to when Beautiful, her daughter's name is Beautiful, was a child. That's what I had to go back. I had to go back to when my daughter was a child. And think about her being 6, 7, and 8, because that's who the audience was. Then I could that helped me be able to do the point of view of a child. Because if you're not around kids all the time, you're not necessarily tuned in like that. If you know what I mean. So now I had a question about you talked about they made him earn the money. And that's actually what happens in my children's book series. But I'm glad you brought that up because a lot of parents today just give their kids everything.
Yes.
And the way that they really are serious is to have them have some skin in the game.
Yes. And I wanted that. I grew up with that.
Me too. We had to earn everything. We got very little. We extra.
I've got to say that with my daughter, she did get a lot because she's an only child. However, she grew up with a work ethic. The girl's been working since she was 12 years old. She doesn't like asking me for things because she knows I'm gonna give it to her. So she doesn't want to ask for it. She wants to go ahead and get it herself. And she overcame a huge financial hurdle recently, and didn't ask me for help at all. She told me what was going on, but she said, I'm gonna handle it myself, and she handled it. So
nice.
I think that when we, even if we're going to give our kids the world, when we teach them those values of, doing for yourself and taking care of your money, it's something that will stick with them.
Oh, it does.
Yeah.
Now I was referring to me when I said we had to earn everything. Sylvia, she's an only child too. So she got a lot of stuff. And stuff that when other people who had kids before I had her, or they were younger, and they spent, like, I remember one thing in particular. I'm just telling this one story. When the little Barbie cars came out, now they're popular. They got all kinds now. They got the Mercedes and they got Jeeps and stuff that the little kids drive in, like ride down the street in. And the Barbie cars cost like $250 or something like that. This was back. So Sylvia's 28, so she was probably 5 or 6. And I remember my friend had bought her child one. This was before I had Sylvia, and she grew up old enough. I said, I would never spend that for I would never spend $250 for a Barbie car. I didn't even think twice about it. Once Cynthia
Yeah.
once she got at the age, she looked so cute riding in her car and riding people. She, it was a 2-seater, so she
Yeah.
could ride somebody else in there. Just
Her
excited.
friends.
So anyway, we do
Yeah.
a lot for our children. But
Mhm.
we do have to teach them a work ethic. We have to teach them the value of $1. And
Mhm.
we definitely did that with our daughter. So, and I
Yeah.
encourage people to do that. To don't just give them money. You have to, because they won't connect the value of $1. They just think money grows on trees, literally. They won't think
Yeah.
about how everything has to be earned.
Yes.
I'll say technically, money is made of paper, paper is made from wood. So, I
But it
mean,
doesn't grow on the tree. You can't just go and pluck it. And
Right.
I know when we were kids, we would tell our mom, and she didn't have the money when we were shopping, but she didn't take us that much. But she would normally go herself. We would say, "Why? Just write a check." See, now it's the card, but back then we just said, "Write a check."
Yeah, you got a card. Use your card. You got a card.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
Yeah.
now
Miss
it's
Dana,
the
are you
card.
planning on writing any other books?
Yes. Yes. Well, my son is a pilot, and I dedicated this book to him because he gave me the inspiration because he played the trumpet in school.
Mm-hmm.
And he was very independent and he put himself through school.
Right.
And so I'm just so proud of him. But anyway, he took me for my first plane ride. It was cold out. It was probably in January of this year. And I was so scared. I don't think I breathed. I took a breath the whole time I was in that plane.
Was it like a
And
2-seater plane?
hmm
Oh, okay, yeah, I've never
Oh,
been
those
in
are
one of
scary
those.
to me.
yeah,
Mhm.
I was scared. I'm used to
Yeah.
big planes. Big,
Yeah.
the planes where you got to walk through a terminal. No,
Yes.
I climbed in this plane. So my next book, he actually took me over our zoo in Columbus, Ohio. When we flew out, he circled around the zoo and they had all the Christmas lights. And I
Oh,
just thought that was so special. So my next book is going to be uh, um, something to do with him flying airplanes, the fascination behind it. Um, and the
hmm.
determination to want to pursue a career in that. Because
So
that's
does he
still
want to
about,
be a commercial pilot, or does he do it as a hobby or
no, he put himself through Ohio State University. He went through their
The
aviation.
Ohio
the
State.
Ohio? Yeah, that's what
Yeah,
people say. The Ohio
put the T on that. Yeah.
Yes.
But he was a lot like your daughter, in the sense that, he never asked for help. And he's not in debt. He worked, he stayed at home, he commuted. It's an hour commute from Marion to Columbus. But we have a branch here, so he went here for 2 years, and then he commuted his last 3 years. He commuted, but he was serious about flying, and I'd never seen anything. I mean, I was determined growing up, but I just, I just wanted to work in fashion. I just wanted to teach. I was not that determined to get off the ground and fly an
Yeah,
airplane.
literally, literally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I
Wow.
think my next book is going to evolve um flight. It's going to involve flight, determination, setbacks, and those type of things that children will encounter. So I'm still wrapping my head around that.
Well, that would be
Nice.
a great book,
I
especially
think so.
since your son actually became a pilot. So there's
Yeah.
a real person behind the story. Well, show us your book cover. We're at the end of our time. Show us your book cover one more time. Time goes by very
So
fast.
yeah.
Okay.
Do you
Yes.
do you want to see a page in the book? Just one page?
Sure.
Absolutely. We
Yes.
have a
Open it up.
minute.
We have a minute or two.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
So I'm gonna show you I gave the information to the illustrator what I wanted the guest speaker to look like.
Okay.
When I tell you and he really looks like very, very similar to this.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Okay.
He
And I
looks,
see the musical letters.
yeah,
Oh, what do you call it?
yeah.
Yeah, well, we
It's
put your website in the chat.
Thank
So
you.
we would love if people will click that link and support this book. You are supporting a huge cause, and you are encouraging an up and coming children's author. So congratulations on that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And congratulations on being our 700th guest.
I wrote it down. I'm the 700th guest. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Oh,
Thank you
you
for being here. Yes.
And have a great evening.
You ladies have a good evening too.
Thank you.
Okay,
Bye
good night.
bye.
You know, it's hard to believe that it's almost Christmas.
I put my
You
Christmas
know,
decorations up already.
well, I've started. Remember when I took a picture when you posted it on Facebook? I took a
Yeah.
picture of my lighted garland on my fireplace. And I said, why not? You know, I had bought some new, last year I bought some and it was battery operated. And girl, I had some batteries. Costco is good, but their batteries suck. So I had some Kirkland batteries in the thing, and I had to change them every 2 days. I like to keep it lit the whole time. And so I said, no, I need it just electric. Let me just,
Yeah, you need Energizer or
yeah.
Duracell.
Yeah, or Duracell, which is expensive, but I'd rather just plug it in and I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, that's true too.
Yeah. So anyway, we're moving right along with our next guest, and this is a unique situation. It's a children's book again, but it's a grandmother and grandson. Normally, we have a mother and child. We have had a dad and son too. But I don't know if we've had a grandmother and grandchild
I don't think so.
book
I know we had a
project.
father and daughter.
Yeah, but not the grandparents.
Yeah.
And so,
I have to leave. I have to turn my camera off for one quick second and I'm gonna be right back.
okay. Okay, so we are welcoming to the show is Armanette Small Reed and Carter. Is it Carter Reed? Oh, you need to unmute. Look at the
Yes,
audience.
that's
Okay,
correct.
there you go.
Yep.
There you go.
Okay.
Hey, Carter. And hi, Carter.
Hey.
And you all have a new book called Broken Crayons. And you all are part of She Publishing
Yes.
LLC. And they are friends of the show and also sponsors of our National Black Book Festival event. So welcome to the show, and we're pleased to have you with your book, Broken Crayons. Did you have a copy of your book with you?
Yes.
Can you show us the cover? Move it to where the camera is so we can see the whole cover. Okay, there you go. Put it a little bit closer to you. Okay, and it's Carter's copy. That's your copy of the book.
Mm-hmm.
So Broken Crayons, I see crayons and I see feet. So what is the theme behind the Broken Crayons book? What is the story about?
About bullying. Go ahead. Expound on it. Go ahead. It's about bullying, and when kids bully, well, it makes people sad and want to hurt themselves, and I want to stop all that.
Mm.
Okay, so the broken crayons that are on the cover is like the bullies. Those are like the bullies' feet. Is that what it is? And they're breaking the crayons. Is that
Nope. Tell her how you came up with the
no?
title.
Okay,
Yes,
all
we want
right.
to
I don't
know.
want to read into it. I don't want to read something into it that's not there. So what is that? What does that represent? What is the illustration of the broken crayons and the shoes? What does that represent?
That represents bullying.
Bullying. Okay, so how is it representing bullying? That's why I was asking, are the shoes breaking the crayons? Are they stepping on somebody's crayons?
The reason why he came up with the title. He didn't like the title I originally came up with. He said, no, Nana, he didn't like my title. But the thing is we actually use children's feet stepping on the crayons, because the thing is that what we need to realize is that a broken crayon is just like a bully. They're broken, but they can still be used. They can still be good friends, just like crayons. Even though they're broken, you still have use of both, whether it's broken or not. So that's how we came up with the concept. Well, he did, with the broken crayons, because he was like, Nana, a broken crayon is just like a bully. You can still use a crayon. So why can't a broken bully still be a good person or be a good friend? I was like, that's a very good analogy.
That's
so
a
he came up
beautiful
with that.
analogy.
He came up, not he didn't like my title. He came up with that. Well, we don't want to talk about what I thought.
So you don't want? Okay, I was going to ask you what was your title, but you said you're going to
Say it.
Well, my title was
on the secrecy.
no, he wants me to. It's actually on the back of the book of how we came up with it. But I said the person who sits next to me, and I had death with children, and some of the faces had question marks to symbolize that the bully could be sitting right next to you and you might not know it. But he said he didn't like that concept because he wanted it.
Well, that's kind of sound like a knowledge book.
Or a knowledge book.
A real big book for teenagers.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Okay, this sounds like a children's book.
Well,
And he said it was too big.
Congratulations for knowing your audience, because there are grown folks who don't know their audience.
Don't know their
You knew
audience.
exactly who you were writing to, and I love that.
True.
That's true. That is very true. It's important to know your audience. And apparently he knew his, but Karter had the misfortune of being bullied in the first grade. So he started experiencing bullying at a very young age.
Yeah.
And I was taking him to school and he was like, Nana, why are kids so mean? And I was like, oh, okay. So it just seemed like the conversation started from first grade. So we've been working on this book since the first grade. He's now in the fourth.
He's in the fourth grade. Okay. So is he 9?
He just turned 10.
Turned 10. Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, bullies have been around a long time, Karter, because we had bullies at our school when I was a kid.
Me too.
And so they're not new, but it seems new for each kid because it's so personal.
Yes.
That's one thing about when you're being bullied. It's really hurtful because you don't know why they targeted you. Right. And then you don't know what you can do about it a lot of times.
Yeah, very true.
Mm-hmm. So you're the first, we've interviewed 700 guests. Actually, you're the 701st or 701 since we've had the show. So we've never had a grandmother and grandchild author combination, co-author.
Yes, thank you for being our first.
So thank you.
The 701st guest.
Yes.
But the first grandmother-grandson duo.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you for having us. Thank you.
Yeah. So how did your project get off the ground? Like, when did you decide you're going to actually do a book and then proceeded with it?
Well, actually, it was in the first grade. That's when we started having conversations. And during that time in first grade, Karter was, in first grade, you're writing those small words, the and the and those things like that. So Karter and I started writing. So he would tell me his thoughts and then I would write them down. And as time went on, we just kept compiling different things, and then we kept going. And it seemed like he always had an experience or a thought. And he would always come home and he would be like, Nana, I wish people would just speak up, just say something. And I was like, okay. So we started talking and writing and we came up with something behind that. And then he started talking about words hurt, Nana. I said, words like what? So he started giving me words, and we wrote something about hurtful words. And then he was like, I want to choose to be good. And he always said, Nana, I want to be a good boy. I want to be good, Nana. I just want to be good. I said, okay, so that's something you choose? He said, yeah. I said, what else do you choose? And he said, I choose to go to school every day. I choose to make my parents proud. So from there, he was telling me what his thoughts were, and we took it from there, and we just started writing from then on. And so I am truly proud of Karter and how far he has come with this book and the message that he's sending out to students, to kids about being good stewards. And if you see something, say something. So he is truly trying to walk the model of the book, which is great. To be 10 and to try to walk in your truth or walk in how you feel to demonstrate it to other kids, I think it's amazing.
I think it's amazing as well. And I also think it's amazing that he wanted to do this, or you're on here. I'm gonna talk to you. No, that you wanted to do this in the form of writing a book. Are you a big reader? Do you like reading books? Is that why you decided to go the route of being or writing your own book?
Sometimes.
Sometimes. So
So
what made you want to write?
Because I experienced bullying in first grade, and I didn't like it at all.
So move a little bit closer to the computer because
There
it's
we
not picking
go.
up your
Now we can
voice.
see you.
Now we can see you, yeah. And then we'll be able to hear you better.
And
Yeah, that's great right there.
Just say it again, what you just said.
I experienced bullying in first grade all through fourth grade, and I thought of the title Broken Crayons because people are mean, and and um and with this book right here, it could change the world.
Mm,
Well, you're right. Books can change the world. That's for sure.
absolutely.
Hmm.
Can you show us the book again?
It's very colorful.
Very.
Hmm.
Wait, hold it up a little bit higher.
So we can
Let's
see the bottom. Okay, there you go.
Oh, I love
Yeah, that's
that.
beautiful. It's beautiful. It's very, very creative. So, have you all done any book readings anywhere? What have you been doing with the book in terms of getting it out to people? Have you been in any classrooms to
Yeah.
talk about it, or the public library maybe? So what have you been doing, Karter?
So one time we went to our school, and my school basically, and and, and we talked about bullying in there. So it was fourth grade and kindergarten inside of a medium sized room, and it was a classroom. And then each one and each student that I picked, well, for each and every answer, uh, they got a candy bag or a chip bag or a book bag or a book.
Okay, and did you read from your book? Did you read to the class from
Yeah.
out of your book? You did? And how did they like it? What did they say about it?
Mm, all they did is just clapped.
Oh, they clapped, but that's good.
Yeah,
Clapping,
that's
that
very
means
good.
clapping means they liked it.
And he asked questions behind.
Oh, now we can't hear you, Armanette.
You can't hear. Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Hmm.
Okay. So he did, we after each reading, we asked questions behind what he read, and we had a lot of conversation, a lot of feedback, which was great because that's what we wanted to do, was have the conversations about bullying, so it was really a great opportunity for Karter to actually have the opportunity to read to his class, which is fourth graders, and then the kindergarten class where his brother is. So he was able to read to his brother's class and his fourth
Okay.
grade class, and it was really, really nice.
Mhm.
Okay. So the teachers were receptive to him doing that.
Yes,
Well, that was good.
yes.
They were receptive to it. So are there in the book, are there characters? And what are the names of some of the characters in the book?
No, there are
There are
no
no
characters
there are no
because
characters. Okay.
Me.
because it's pretty much poetry.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
got it.
Okay.
Yeah,
I understand.
it's
Okay.
poetry.
Okay.
So that way, anybody can associate themselves to any one of the poems in the book because they all pertain to somebody. Because as you stated, I've been bullied too in my younger years, and then you think about sometimes adults are even bullied. So it's just an ongoing, never-ending vicious cycle, which is just very unfortunate. So, we were hoping that with the book, we would give people the opportunity to have a safe space, especially children, to be able to talk about if they're being bullied. So we don't have to worry about other situations coming about because of the lack of the conversations.
Yeah. Now, Carter, are children your age group? It's been a while since my little girl is 28 years old now, so
And
but
mine is 25.
but are children in your age group, are they on social media? Are they on phones? Are they doing social media? Well, they're not supposed to technically, but are they
The
uh,
girls be scrolling on TikTok all the time
on
and on
TikTok?
Instagram.
Okay,
TikTok and
TikTok,
Instagram.
Instagram. Yeah. Um, and so some people get bullied through those
Yep,
social
That's
I
media,
true.
and
That
that's
be
very unfortunate because
yes,
that stuff can go worldwide. Um,
yes.
and hopefully the children will, if I can leave you one thing, Carter, I know when my daughter turned 12 or 13, that was when the social media platforms were taken off. She wanted to have a Facebook page. And what I told her then is just remember this. And I didn't know how ubiquitous it was going to become, how overarching and far reaching. But I told her what I did know this. Whatever you put on social media or online, it's gonna last forever.
Mhm.
It will never be erased. So don't put anything there that you may regret or feel bad about later on because it will never be erased. So I really am glad that I emphasized that with her. I kind of drilled that into her. Don't put anything out there that you wouldn't want me to see. That was really her, the measure for whether or not you should do it. But the main thing is it lasts forever. So it can affect you in the future with going to college or getting a job or whatever, because it's forever. And now they check people's
Yes, they do.
before you get hired. They check you out. That's one of the steps, you know, before you. I don't, and I'm not even in corporate, but I know they do it.
Yes, they do.
You just never know who see it because I ain't gonna
Yeah.
lie. When we know we have somebody new coming, we like, who is this person? Let me check them out. I'm not trying to spy. I just want to know who it is.
Who it is? I mean, because who you
Yeah,
are, what you're putting out there, and some people just put some things
crazy.
out there. I'm like, what are they thinking?
Right.
What are they? What
I
are they
will
planning?
say, I will say that when my daughter was, I believe she was maybe 13, maybe 14, she
Okay.
did something that I did not like. And it was because she used to have a YouTube channel when she was younger. And I didn't mind her having a YouTube channel because it was very harmless. But one day she did something on her YouTube channel I didn't like. And I told the way her punishment was, all right, you're going to be on social media, so you need to do a YouTube video about why you shouldn't be doing this.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so
Okay.
I made her study up on the ramifications of doing what she did. And I had her do a YouTube video. And the first time she did it, she had her friend over and they were giggling through the whole thing. And they did all the tips I told them to do, but they were giggling and she didn't take it seriously. I was like, all right, that's cute and all, but you're gonna do it again.
Right.
So I made her do it again, and this time take it seriously because I wanted her to understand that you, like, just as Gwen said, you can't put everything on social media.
No.
Absolutely. Accountability. Absolutely.
Mhm.
It's forever. It's never going away. And what I did with Sylvia, I told her she could have a Facebook page, but all of her friends, I would have to have access to it so I could check to make sure anybody she befriended on there, became friends with, I approved that they were,
Mhm.
so I would know who she was connecting with. Well, one of the people posted something. She was 12 or 13. One of the people posted something very, very sexual. It was totally inappropriate sexual.
Mhm.
It wasn't a picture, but it was language. And I told her, I said, well, who in the world is that? You need to unfriend that person immediately. Well, what happened was it was a close friend, parent. I knew the parents, and she created like a fake name. She did a page with a fake name and all that.
Oh.
And so her parents didn't know she even had Facebook because she wasn't supposed to have it. And so I thought, I said, well, should I tell? And because a lot of times parents need to know things.
You
And
read it.
Absolutely.
I surely did. And but the thing was, the way it happened, it was really God did it because they came to our church that Sunday and they don't even attend our church. They were there visiting our church because somebody was getting baptized, and I saw her. See, that was God. They never come to our. They're not members. She was there, and so I told her. I didn't tell her what was said. I told her she has a Facebook page. She's posting some inappropriate stuff, and you need to know. She said,
Mhm.
"What? I didn't even know she was on there. She's not supposed to be on there." See, parents need to know what's going on. They can't
Absolutely.
have their heads in the sand because that's the way a lot of children come to harm. Just the
Yeah.
parents not knowing what the heck is going on with their child. And so um uh, getting back to Karter, I'm glad that Karter, that you have made a decision to be proactive, meaning you are taking action in your own hands and not just sitting around complaining about it. You are letting other children know that
And
it's a problem and
mhm.
how they should handle it. And we just applaud you for that.
Well, another thing I applaud you for is recognizing that even though a person may be a bully, they may still be a good person. Like that, a broken crayon still colors. A broken crayon still makes beautiful colors. And the fact that you recognize that at your age says a lot about you and a lot about your mindset. So I hope that you'll continue to write more books. Do you want to write more books?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Do well. I think the idea that that's a metaphor and that's a big word, but you created a metaphor at your age, and you might not even realize that that's what you did. But that's very creative. From a literary standpoint, a lot of people aren't able to recognize that,
Hmm.
you know. And so you're very smart and very insightful. You know, you're able to see things other people can't see. And that's a good thing.
Yeah.
So do you have another idea for another book, Karter?
A movie.
A movie. Okay.
Okay, movie.
So what's your movie theme going to be? What's it going to be
Curious,
about?
Curious Carter.
Curious Carter. Okay. All right. That's
It's
good.
going to be like a TV show on Netflix, or it might be a reality show.
Okay. All right. Well,
And then I just come around and they're asking, um, have you ever been bullied? If so, um,
talk this way because when we can hear you. When you talk, keep your mouth in the direction of the camera.
if you get bullied, try talking with somebody that you love, and maybe that can help you.
Okay, good idea.
Mhm.
So, do you have other tips like that on how to handle a bully?
Yeah,
What's another
ignore
tip?
ignore them, or walk away, or tell.
Okay, ignore them, walk away, or tell. You know, even when we become adults, sometimes in the workplace there are people who are bullies, and though we have to use those same three things: ignore, ignore them, walk away, or tell.
Yeah.
Sometimes the same thing happens when you're an adult. So
Mm-hmm.
uh, as you grow up, at least you're recognizing how to solve problems. Well, do you have school tomorrow?
Yeah.
Well, you
So we
better go
don't
to
want.
bed.
Yeah, you we don't want to keep you up too late. Where are you all tuning in from? Where you all live?
We're in the south suburbs. So we're
Uh
in Illinois. We're in
uh
Illinois.
Illinois. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
you guys are with She Publishing, right?
Yes.
Mm,
Yeah,
Which has
yeah.
my
been
girl
amazing.
Shanita.
Yes, he is amazing.
She
And Carter and I, we've been able to get the book published in the library. So we have it in two libraries out here.
oh
Um,
wonderful. That's
and we
wonderful.
we have a speaking engagement on the 21st at a school. It's family reading night. They've given
Mm-hmm.
Carter and I an hour to read and to talk about the book, and Carter will do some reading and I'll do some reading. So and the book too is very interactive in the back. We have something called a bully oath. That's where if you see something, you say something, and we want you to sign it and date it, that you commit to not being a bully, that you want to do the right things and make good choices. We have a crossword puzzle in the back. We have something called Let's Talk About It. If you've ever experienced bullying, how did you handle it? What did
Mm-hmm.
you do? Let's see if you want to show them.
Okay.
Here's the page.
Oh, okay. All right. That looks like a word find. I love word find.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
did that too. So we wanted them to be able to do something in the back to, crossword, scramble.
Activity.
Yes,
Hmm. Okay, that's really nice, Carter.
It's a good way to channel your energies. If you're
absolutely.
down about being bullied, going through this book, you're learning lessons, but at the same time, you're not so much thinking about the bully anymore. You're thinking about the games and the book. So it channels your energies and channels your thoughts. So that's a great idea. That's a good job. Good
Yeah.
job.
Well, congratulations to both of you, and
Thank you.
Carter, you especially. And
Thank you.
we're looking forward to big things from you, and just keep going and keep sharing and keep encouraging other kids.
Absolutely.
We will. He will.
Okay, well, you all have a great night, and
Thank you. And thank you both. Thank you, Dr. Rhonda. And thank you, Gwen, for having Carter and I on your show tonight. We greatly appreciate you. And thank you both.
And
no
thank you for
problem.
joining us and thank you for what you're doing. I think it's beautiful and I encourage you to just keep going.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We will.
Excuse me, Dr. Rhonda.
Yes?
You look like someone from my school,
Oh,
Mrs.
really?
He does.
Oh, well, I hope that's a nice person.
He's wonderful. He's
Oh,
wonderful. Yeah.
And,
awesome.
and
Oh,
people bullied me about my stuttering. So Mrs. Watson taught me how to not to stutter. And you look exactly like her.
oh,
Oh,
okay.
she must be
Wow.
a good
You have a
person. I like her.
double. You got a
He is.
twin.
That's a compliment. It is, because we
All
love
right,
her.
thank
So yeah,
you. Thank you.
yeah,
I appreciate that. And keep going. We all get bullied when we're young, but when we get older, we learn how to overcome that. And we're able to face adversity because of that. So I know that that's gonna be your case as well. You're gonna be able to face adversity when you're older.
yeah.
Okay,
Thank
you
you
all
for
have a great
having us
evening.
here. Thank you for
Okay.
having us here.
Oh,
Thank
you're
you.
welcome.
Bye-bye.
Good
Thank
night.
you. Bye-bye.
Good night. Okay, so that was now Lydia says 701 and 702, but no, Lydia, because if they are on the same time, if they're on at the same time,
They
they're
count as
considered as
one guess.
one guest. So that's the way we count it. So anyway, for those of you out there who may have been wondering the same thing. So our final guest is Debra Owsley, and she is an author, but she also does creative projects for book events and
Yeah,
um,
I know. I need to call Deborah because we didn't get to do what we were supposed to do last year, so we're gonna do it this year. I don't know if she knows that yet, though.
oh, okay. Well, hi Deborah, welcome to Black Authors Matter TV, and we need to unmute so we can hear you.
Thank you for having me, both you and Rhonda.
Oh,
Yes,
okay, you're
thank you for
welcome.
being here.
You're welcome.
Now we've been connected on social media forever. Uh, I don't believe we've ever met, but correct me if I'm wrong.
No, we have not.
I didn't think so. I meet so many people that sometimes if it's like 15 years ago, I may not remember, you know. But I know we have been connected on social media and pretty much since I've been on, I think since, 12, 10, 11, 12 years, something like that. Um, and you always have a lot of positive um posts. Some people don't. So anyway, I try to stay positive or just stay silent. That's my that's what I do. But I didn't know about your creative projects that you do, and I just thought that was amazing.
Aw, I don't know how you didn't know. I post them constantly, but yeah, I have been doing bookmarks for it's 19 years this year. And it went from bookmarks to different things, swag and boxes and all kinds of different items for authors.
So
And
what made you branch off into doing that? Did
with
you like were you one of those people who made jewelry and things like that?
mm, no, not jewelry, but years and years ago, I was doing hair accessories. Remember when hair combs were in style, and I
Mm-hmm.
was doing those like when I was a teenager, and then I got
Okay.
grown and got a real job, and then and what happened was I'm a hairdresser, so all of my customers, when they're under the dryer, they would read, and they were reading books. There was no Kindle back at that time. So,
Okay.
I said, okay, because I always give them a Christmas present every year. So I said, okay, this year I'll make them some bookmarks. And one of my customers, we are all on a first name basis. I don't know anybody's last name per se. And one of my customers asked me, can you make me a couple of hundred of these? And I'm thinking, a couple of hundred, is she going to give them out as Christmas gifts? What is she going to do? And she told me about the uh, romantic times convention.
Mm.
And and I was like, what is that? And she explained to me it's a conference. Now, hairdressers have conferences, doctors have conferences. It never dawned on me that authors and book readers and book people have conferences. And when I said, well, what is your name? And she said, Marcia King Gamble. And I was like in
Mm.
shock because I had been doing her hair for years and just never knew. And had been reading
Wow.
her for years.
Oh,
So,
okay.
she took them to the convention And I always put my name and information, email on the back of the bookmarks. And I started getting calls from other people. Can you make me some? Can you do this? Can you do that? And I'm like, wow. So that's how really it got started. It was really by accident. It was me gifting my clients, and I got a gift back.
Well, they
Oh,
say your gift will make room for you, and then this was absolutely an opportunity where your gift made room for you. So that's
Absolutely.
beautiful. Do you
Yeah,
have any of your bookmarks with you right now?
I do always.
that's wonderful.
Um, right now I'm doing a whole thing for Christmas, as you can imagine.
Okay.
But I don't know. These are some die cuts that I've done, have done, and when I'm working with an
Oh, that's
author,
cute.
I try
Mhm.
to.
It almost looks like an ornament.
It does look like an ornament,
Mhm.
but I try to get the character likeness as well as I can, or the author's likeness. And one of my clients looks exactly like this, and it's a chibi or whatever you want to call it, but it looks like her, and
Okay.
it has information on the back as well. I also do a lot with flowers because some people don't want anything but something pretty.
Mm-hmm. I need to get with you because we order bookmarks every year for the National Black Book Festival that we put in our book club gift bags. And I've been ordering them from another source, which I don't have a problem with the other source, but I always like to
Do something different.
get something different or compare.
I told you that was the reason. That was Deborah and I were going to do this last year for the Black History Month Literary Weekend, and I think we ran out of time or something. And that's why
Oh,
when she was coming on, I said, we're gonna do it this year. She doesn't know it yet, but we're gonna do it
oh,
this
okay.
year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to get with you on that. It's for next year's book festival, which is not till October. But we get about 100, 150, which is a fairly large amount, maybe more than that.
And I customize them out and make them very unique to the event or to the book or to the author. It's just what I like everything to be like 3D. I want you to have a memory of that experience.
Okay.
So, I'm trying to convey it in anything that you are, using for swag or for bookmarks or anything like that. I'm also doing these
Door knockers?
these are door knock, do not disturb,
Do not disturb sign.
customizing them with the people's names on it. I think, Rhonda, I think you also remember I have a card game called Conversations, and it's 70 questions that keep the conversation going when you're having a book club meeting or anything like that, because sometimes they get kind of boring. So you want to spice it up a little bit and ask a few different questions,
Right.
make it more fun. And then what it does is it spins out to a whole another conversation. So it just keeps it moving,
Okay. Now, did you ever do bracelets? I got bracelets from somebody a few years back, and I can't remember who it was. And they had it was a beaded bracelet, and it had a little, like a book as a charm. Was that you?
Can you see?
Uh-huh.
This is the Delta ones. I'm doing an event right after Thanksgiving for Small Black Business Weekend, and the Deltas is giving an event. And yeah, these are book thongs.
Oh, book thongs.
They're book
Okay.
thongs. And they're bookmark as well.
Book what?
Thongs.
Thong.
Yeah,
Yeah, book
like
Thong, 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 thong.
it fits in the spine of a book, so it's a book thong.
Oh. Excuse me.
Rhonda, you know me. I had to give it a name. I had to give it a name. And the catchier the name, the more people are gonna come look at it.
Yeah, that is true.
Absolutely.
And you can create your own product and theme and trademark name or trade, it's all about being creative.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
But that's nice. It's amazing how something can grow out of something small. It can become bigger just based on word of mouth. Word of mouth is the best advertising.
Yes, it is.
So you also have a book.
I do.
Think like an author, act like a fan.
Yes. Like I said, I've been doing this for 19 years and I've worked with a lot of authors. I mean, hundreds and hundreds of authors. And a lot of them kept saying, you really should write a book about what you do for us. And I was like, yeah, right. I'm never going to write a book. But, I kept notes. I kept notes on post-it notes and different notebooks and napkins and post-it notes everywhere. And COVID hit. And I had to sit home and do nothing. And I said, well, this is a good time to gather up all that stuff and try to turn it into something,
Mm-hmm.
And, I had a couple of authors that I work with said, we'll help you. And that's how the book came to be. It was a process. I had no idea how much work went into writing a book, the editing, the formatting, the cover, it was like, I'm tired, but I wanted to get it done. And it has become a resource guide, a textbook, a tip book. It's got over 1,000 ideas in there on how to market your book on a budget.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And, authors are not rich, no matter what people think.
No,
No.
to the contrary.
To the contrary. And a lot of them are still working a job to have a family raise and have other responsibilities, so they can't dump every penny that they make into marketing and promotion and Google ads and Facebook ads and all the other stuff. So you've got to find alternative ways to promote yourself. So like I said, in the book, it's got over 1,000 different ways that you can do things on a budget. Now, like I always tell my clients, it may not cost you a whole bunch of money, but it's going to cost you some time. Just setting up certain things, like if you set up your Meta suite with, it's going to take time to organize it and get it where you can just push a button and it'll go out, every day for you.
Right.
You're going to invest money in certain things, but in the long run, it's going to pay off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's one thing that we try, and I try to impress upon, especially new authors. They most of them completely miss the marketing part of it.
Mm-hmm.
They think, I've written this book, it's on Amazon.
It doesn't work that way.
And here the other part
yeah,
of
they
the
think
on
if
Amazon,
they put it on Amazon, that's all they have to do.
right? They do. And what they need to realize is it's on Amazon with 10 million other books. And I'm not exaggerating on the 10 million.
At least 10 million.
At least.
And
so that's like a grain of sand on the beach.
Exactly. And I tell people all the time, I sell more product and more books in person than I do online. I will go to a conference and sell out and then come back and look at my website and haven't sold one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You have to get yourself out there.
Let people
meet you, check your personality, check out your product, listen to you read an excerpt, convince them with a little swag. You have to do you have to put the work in.
Yes.
That's true.
Yes.
That is very
And
true.
if you're not able to travel, do it virtually like we're doing right now. You can do things. There are things you can do that doesn't cost you a whole bunch of money.
Right. And but it costs you some money. Because nothing is free. Nothing is free. And so
for trouble.
It costs for trouble. You're right about that. That kind of just comes, but you have to spend the time and the money. And
learn.
It takes time. It's not gonna happen overnight.
No, it's not. And
years.
I think also people are afraid to ask for help. If you don't understand how to do something, ask somebody. Collaborations do work.
Well, I'm gonna be fair. I think a lot of authors do want help, but the problem is that there are a lot of pretenders out there, or a lot of people who want to use you for practice. They don't know what they're doing, but they're gonna market themselves as a marketer, or they're gonna market themselves as an expert because they need their first person to practice on so they can get
Correct.
that experience. And
Correct.
I don't mind helping a person else. Everybody needs a first. But tell me that. Don't make it seem like you know what you're doing if you don't really know what you're doing.
Exactly.
And I needed to see examples when
Right.
because people will come and say they can help us with our numbers on Facebook or Instagram, and then I look at their page and see how many they have.
Right.
So if you're not helping yourself, then how you gonna help me? This is what.
Exactly.
Because they're too busy helping other people, Gwen.
Okay, so let's.
But also sometimes, I'll see something that an author is doing and she's not doing it well, or she could do it better. And I'll message her. And some people take it. Some people tell me to mind my business. Some people will use whatever I suggested to them and don't even say thank you. So all that comes, with it. It all, because, like I said, I've had people tell me to mind my business, and the next thing I know, exactly what I told them to do is what they're doing, and they're making moves.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well,
yeah,
gratitude is not common. You just have to kind of let it roll off of you in a way, because that's just the way the world is. And a lot of people they really are looking for some quick cash.
Yeah, a scheme.
Yeah, they're not looking to invest their time and build something. Everybody wants to be like, okay, now we live in an instant age where going viral is the goal. So the thing about going viral is that's what's going viral today. What's going viral today? In 2 or 3 days, it'll be something else that went viral. It doesn't last.
You're right. Because I see the trend right now where it's like, oh, I have 65,000 followers. It's like, yeah, but do you have $65 from any of them?
Yeah, you're right. You have to convert. Sense. You're right. You have to convert what you have into cash. You have to be able to utilize it for income.
Them. You have to convert them into customers.
Yes. And but you have to do it honestly. You can't be trying to run schemes or scams, because the word gets out and you might beat a few people here and there, but then the word will get out that it's just you're a scammer. So
no, well, I'm referring to these people who are posting all of these ridiculous posts, wrong information just to get people to engage with them.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah.
Are going up. And it's like I said, if you have 65,000 people following you, can you get $1 from each one of them? No. Can you get 6 people to read your book out of those 65,000? It's like, use your head.
Yeah. But are they what are they trying to do?
They're trying to get meta money.
Oh, okay. Meta money. Well, I haven't figured that out yet. And what I figured out is there's some things I'm not willing to do for meta money. I'm not gonna act the fool. I'm just gonna put it like that.
You don't have to do all that. You would make meta money just by having your show, having the engagement, having consistency. You don't need to make those crazy posts and all those videos and stuff. You have content.
Yeah, but I've looked into it, and every time I look into it, I've always made whatever their criteria is, they have 5 criteria or 6 criteria, and I'm always one under. If it's 4, if it's 5, I got 4 out of 5. If it's 6, I got 5 out of 6. If it's 7, I got 5 or 6 out of 7.
Understand.
And the other piece is something I haven't figured out yet. But I do understand that there is money to be made. So I just haven't I haven't got there yet. But I am aware of it. I'm looking into it. And it is on my list for sure.
Well, the little money I get from them, it's a surprise every month. It's like, I got a check from Meta, and it's like, really? And it's like, okay. And I didn't do anything. You never see anything crazy on my page. If I'm really upset, you might see me drop a curse word, but I have to be really upset to do that. But, I don't post anything crazy. I just share. I post what I think or how I feel or whatever the temperature is in the country right now, my 2 cents. So yeah, when I do get a check from Meta, I'm like, oh, thank you. It's not a lot, but it's something.
Okay. Yeah. Well, it can be, the Amazon royalties. Now, I get royalties every single month. The amount varies.
Yes.
But I can pay a bill with it.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, there you go.
Yes, ma'am.
So, I appreciate it on the 29th of the month.
Okay. On the 29th, I'll be looking.
I will tell you one funny story. One time, I forgot which one of my books it was, but you know how they show you how much money that you're going to get from each country. Most of the time it's the United States. But one month I had thought I was getting $200 and something from India. I said, wow, people in India read my book. So when the 29th came, I didn't have the $200, the extra 200. I didn't see it. So I actually called Amazon. And they said, no, it's in rubles or whatever the Indian currency is. So the equivalent was like $2 and something.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
So you have to check the currency. Excuse me, the currency, it does matter. And if it's from India, what that number is not this is like 1% of what. So it was 200 and something. So it ended up being $2. So it was 1% of what it showed. But I still got my American dollars that month. But I was just expecting an extra 200. When you're expecting something and it doesn't show, you just
of course.
As long as you didn't commit that money somewhere thinking you were getting $200.
No, I wait till it's in there.
Well, when I did a couple of library sales and I'm like, where's the money? Where's the money? I know this library bought 3 copies. I know this library bought copies. And, Ingram makes you wait 3 months.
Yes. Yeah. Ingram Spark.
And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, they're very late. And this is because they can. What can you do? But Amazon used to pay in 30 days. And 5, 6, 7 years ago, I don't remember when it was, they changed it to 60 days.
Yeah, when you first start out.
No, they used to pay everything in 30 days. Like if your book sales like November, you would get the money in December. But now you get it in January. They used to pay within 30 days.
Well, we get it. That's what's important.
Yeah,
Exactly.
they changed
when
it
it comes
because
is when it comes.
Yeah, at least you're going to get it. It does hit your bank on the 29th, unless it's the weekend and then it hits on Monday. So it's consistent.
But that's also awesome to have books that you can mail out yourself, because I keep these 25 to 30 books at the house just to make sure if somebody wants the book, I mail them right out.
Right.
Well, it's more money.
I I think that also kind of depends. I prefer not to do that only because I know my schedule. If people order something for me that I have to mail, it's going to be a month before they get it.
I go to the post
Yeah.
office every Tuesday, like
No, that's great. I can't do it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, your
I
schedule
don't.
is really,
Yeah,
really
I don't
busy.
go to the post office to pay my bills. I was supposed to go to the post office to confirm an identity. I did it online because I just don't have time to go. So, I mean, it's great for people who can do it, but I think often, and it's just like when you see these people on Instagram who decorate their houses and make them look all pretty. Even those decorators will tell you, don't decorate because you think it's pretty. Decorate because it's going to be functional for you. Like, for instance, don't put pillows in the middle of the floor because you thought it was pretty, but now your family keeps tripping over them because it didn't work out for you. Or you did something really cool with your closet, but now your closet's junky because you don't have time to keep it up the way you saw it on Instagram.
Rhonda, I did a post a couple of weeks ago,
Mm-hmm.
and the post was this beautiful bed with a bunch of pillows on it. And I look at that bed and I said, oh my God, years ago, that was my bed. I mean, pillows and smooth, and the kids could never figure out how I knew they were in my room. The pillows was all jacked up and it wasn't smooth. Anyway, so I love these pillows. I invested in these pillows. I love them. One morning I got up and I said, you know what? I don't feel like doing this anymore. And I took all the pillows off my bed and threw them in the garbage.
Oh, not
You
the
threw them in
garbage.
the
You could have
garbage.
sold them.
Listen, the
Wow,
kids were so upset.
You were
They called
serious
my
about
mother.
quitting.
The kids
Oh,
were
they
so
told your
upset.
mama on you?
They said, Mommy done lost her mind. She threw the pillows in the garbage. My mother comes flying over. She's like, what's the matter? I'm like, what are you talking about? The kids said you threw your pillows because they knew how attached I was to, the aesthetic of my bed.
Right.
Mhm.
I just didn't have the time because every morning it was like adjust this and smooth this and lay this.
Mm-hmm.
I understand, Rhonda. I get it. It's like, if you don't have time, you make time. And that
Mm-hmm.
was like 20 minutes out of my day because 10 minutes in the morning, take them off. 10 minutes at night, take them. It was just, and this was going on for too long. I threw them away and I felt
Right.
better. And I just
Yeah.
have pillows in my bed now. That's it.
And that's what I tell people. And I tell people all the time. It's like when Gwen and I were talking about the t-shirts. Gwen has a great inventory of her t-shirts.
Mm-hmm.
I know for me, I can't do it. I have a very demanding full-time job.
I know.
I mean, there was a time when I logged out of my job and went directly into the show because that was how much time it
So
was
when you were
taking.
driving home from work and you popped on the show, you were still coming, you were on your way home from work.
Yes.
Several
Yeah.
times. I watch you guys.
It happens. But I agree with you. Like I like taking my books out, and I'm gonna be, and that leads me to my last thing for tonight on the show. Me and also some other friends of mine who are authors, we're gonna be at the Texas Book Festival this weekend in Austin, Texas. It's a huge statewide event, huge, huge. And we have a booth. The booth is in the cushcity.com booth, but we're gonna have our books and t-shirts, and we're in tent number 4. So
Mhm.
it's they have these huge tents, and it's a humongous event. So if you're in Austin or plan to go to Austin, Texas, see us there. And we're at the end of our show, Debra. So let people know how they can connect with you on social media before we sign off.
On Instagram, I'm the Lit Versationalist, and on Facebook, I'm ODeb Simply Said. You can also go to my website, which is litversations.com.
And we put that in the chat.
And my Gmail is litversations@gmail.com.
Okay. Well, I'm glad to have finally met you, even though it's just virtual. But finally got to have a conversation.
Eventually. You know,
Yeah.
By the time you announced it, I had a couple other things planned, so I couldn't make it. And then I was looking at plane tickets. It's like, no way I can afford this now. So
Houston has gotten expensive to fly into. I don't know what's going on with y'all.
I don't know.
It depends on when. It depends on when and the time of year. United normally has decent, but you have to do it a month in advance. After that, then it's going to be pricey. But anyway, it's 9:00 and it's time to sign off.
Okay.
So we're going to say good night, and we'll see you all next Tuesday on another episode of Black Authors Matter TV. I'm Gwen Richardson signing off.
And I'm Dr. Rhonda Lawson. Have a wonderful evening and a great week. I'm going to call you, girl.
Okay.
Thank you for tuning in, and join us next Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern for another edition of Black Authors Matter TV.